Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Max Harris, and I'm CEED's Communication Coordinator. We are very excited about today's Ask the Expert event. But before we get started, I wanted to acknowledge that we are on Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. As well as this event will be recorded, and recording has started, just so you know. For those of you who are not familiar with CEED, it is the Center for Entrepreneurship, Education, and Development. We are a non-for-profit organization that offers a wide variety of programs and funding that supports local entrepreneurs. I'd like to extend an enormous thank you to Carol Myers from Empowering the Potential Within for being with us here today. Carol is a dynamic leader and advocate for women entrepreneurs. With years of experience empowering and mentoring startups, she has become a key figure in fostering growth, collaboration, and innovation. Carol is passionate about supporting entrepreneurs at all stages and is dedicated to helping them navigate their business journeys with confidence as well as clarity. In this workshop, you'll learn about the Maxwell DISC method from Carol. Following this, I'll now hand it off to Carol, where she'll get started. Hey, Carol.
Thank you, Max. So welcome, everyone. I'm happy to be here and to talk about the Maxwell DISC method. In today's program, one of the best ways to figure out how to find a way to connect with others. And of course, I'm not going to cover this slide because Max did such a great job. And again, thank you. I appreciate that. So what we're going to cover today, I'm going to cover how we can recognize behavior patterns in ourselves and others. We'll talk about 4 primary DISC styles, and I will share the key communication strategies through someone's DISC style. So as Max alluded to earlier, and he's also put it in the chat for us, if everyone's got a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and we are going to use that piece of paper for a couple exercises we're going to do. So if everyone's got that ready, I'm going to go to the next slide. So we're going to begin with a little bit of a competition. So with this piece of paper, I'm going to set a timer in a minute, so don't start yet. But what I'd like everyone to do is I'd like them to find numbers in sequence. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep finding the numbers as far as you can go into 30 seconds. So grab your pen and let's begin. We're halfway there. Remember, you're finding numbers in sequence. 5 seconds left. Let's go. And stop. Put your pens down. So now I'd like everyone to share in the chat. And if you could help me with this, Max, because I can't see this chat well. Put down what was the highest number you were able to find. So type in the chat. So what's it look like our highest number is, Max?
It looks like someone was able to get to 14, 7 through 14.
14. Okay, perfect. So we're going to jot that down. So 14, that's excellent. Great job, everyone. So now what I'd like to do is we're going to use a little bit of a strategy, and we're going to set up 4 quadrants. So you can see now that we've got a top, upper, and left side, and a bottom left and right side. So we want to consider this as the framework that's going to aid you to do the same task again. So for example, I'm going to give you a little hint, help you out a little bit. The upper left is 1, upper right is 2, lower right is 3, bottom left is 4, upper right or upper left is 5, and 6, and so on. So does everyone see that little pattern we've got going on? So now we're going to do the same task again. Don't anybody start yet. I'm going to reset my timer, and I'd like everyone to do the same thing. So in sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, to as high a number as you can find. Everyone ready? Let's begin. Remember, we're finding them in sequence. We're halfway there. Come on, guys, you got this. I know we're going to blow this number out the water. 5 seconds left. All right, stop. So now I'd like everyone to share in the chat again. How far did they get this time?
It's looking like your method is aiding. The highest I see right now is 30.
Wow. Yeah, so we've got a 30. So the highest was a 14, now we're at a 30. So it's incredible. So why didn't we do better this time?
Jacob, for instance, said that oh, it looks like someone's sorry, my bad.
That's all right.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, Jacob McDonald, he noticed that each number was in an alternate quadrant. So that's his method, how he went through, as well
Exactly.
as someone spoke to like patterns as well.
Exactly. So what you just experienced is the power of how knowing the pattern allows us to know what to expect and get a better result. So the same holds true for people in our lives. When we become aware of the pattern of how they communicate, we not only know what kind of communication to expect from them, we also know how best to prepare for them, interact with them, and respond to them in order to have a successful connection and relationship. And as we all know, relationship and connections is everything in personal and in professional lives. If we can't connect and build that relationship, then we have no even influence to support someone to grow. So I want to share a little story for anyone who doesn't know. I am celiac. And so quite often, if I go to a restaurant, even if I order a gluten-free food item off the menu, it can be cross-contaminated in the back. So maybe they haven't got a specific station for the gluten-free meals. So myself and my husband went out to dinner one time. And we ate our dinner, we mingled a little bit and just kind of meandered and took a little walk on the boardwalk and just had a nice couple hours out. My husband looked at me and he said, Carol, you look a little fluffy. Well, my head spun around. I said, did you just call me fat? Now, of course, he would never say that to me. He would never say that to anybody. But this is exactly the communication that I'm talking about. Now, what he could have said was, Carol, are you feeling okay? What I could have said was, what do you mean by that comment? So by knowing each other's way and how we communicate can really relieve those tension moments or moments that almost erupted into a fight. So, it's certainly not what my husband meant in any way. So very important. Being able to recognize patterns helps us to communicate, connect, and collaborate in significant ways. So today we're going to learn about the Maxwell-Disc method of personality indicators. So in any room full of people, there's a way to begin to recognize patterns of behavior that help us to see that people are different, but they're predictably different. And here's an example. So we're going to do a couple more fun little exercises. I like to keep this interactive and fun. So here's the scenario for you. You're waiting for the elevator. As the doors begin to open, you're secretly hoping no one is inside. You don't want to have that awkward moment. You don't want to talk to anybody. As you walk in the elevator, you quickly push the button of the floor you're going to. You're staring at that panel, at the floor, at the doors, maybe even at the ceiling. You just hope that that person is not going to speak to you. You wish the elevator would hurry up so you could hurry up and get out. So I'd like you to put a me in the comments if that sounds like you. So just type that me in the comments if it's you. And this would indicate that you're a more reserved person. So our C's and our S's are more reserved. They're hoping the elevator is empty. But in the event that it's not, the S's are thinking, well, I should at least be friendly. So if you believe you're reserved, keep that piece of paper handy. I'd like you to jot down reserved on your paper. If you feel that's you, we are going to come back to that in a few slides. So let's go back to that elevator again. As the doors begin to open, you're curious, you're even excited. You can't wait for the doors to open up because you want to see who's inside. The minute you walk out, you burst out a hearty, "Hello, how's everybody doing today?" And of course, you press the button for the floor. You begin to ask them how their day's been. You may even make a joke about the weather. Now, if this sounds like you, put me in the chat. Yeah, we're seeing a few more. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Excellent. That would mean you're more outgoing. So now, when we look at it from a DISC perspective, our Ds and our Is are more outgoing. They don't mind people in the elevator. So if you believe you're that outgoing personality, jot that down on your piece of paper. As I said, we're going to come back to that in a few slides. So now let's take another journey. And literally, it's a journey. So you're planning for a vacation. If you're focused on what needs to get done in order to go, mow the lawn, maybe take the dog to the kennels, take your car to be serviced. Maybe you're lining up all the work that needs to get done before you can leave and go on holidays. You might even be checking to see if there's Wi-Fi at the hotel so you can keep answering those emails. Maybe sneaking a little work in the morning before everyone else wakes up. So if that sounds like you, put a me in the chat. So there's a lot of work getting done before you go on that vacation, isn't it? All right. So our Ds and our Cs focus on getting things done, then think about the people. They're making the best list for vacations or checking to see if the hotel has Wi-Fi. They've got it all organized and planned out. So if you believe you're that task-oriented, jot that down on your paper. Remember, we're going to come back to this. So let's go on vacation again, vacation mode again. You're focused on who's going to be with you. You're caught up in thinking about who you'll see, how much fun you're going to have, what activities you're going to do while you're there. You're just thinking about all the great experiences and memories that you're going to make. So if this sounds like you, put a me in the chat. So go ahead and put that me in the chat. Excellent. Yep, I see the numbers go. I don't see the chat, but I see the numbers going up. So great job, everyone. So I want you mentally to remember who is the person in your life who does all the planning, has everything organized, has everything right down to stuff we probably don't need, but maybe even the Band-Aids, who knows? So I want you to take the time to thank that person the next time you go on vacation because they're the reason that you are going on the vacation because everything is planned out and you can go and have fun. Great job, everyone. So as we mentioned, the I's and S's focus on people first, then on getting things done. Their vacation planning consists of a list of names or experiences they want to have while they're there. So if you believe that people-oriented, jot that down. So again, you should have a few different things jotted down on your piece of paper now. And based on the answers to the elevator and vacation questions, you'll begin to see what you are on the Maxwell DISC matrix. Every single style can be strengthened with grace and humility. So those of you who feel that you jotted down outgoing and people-oriented, there are a few patterns you may developed through the years, and you might be known as the person who is always late. You may be a little disorganized, but you sure can have fun when you're there, right? If you're going on vacation, oftentimes you arrive, unpack, and realize there was something that you forgot along the way, but you think, oh, well, I'm going to have fun running to the store, gathering that item up. So if that sounds like you, then they're outgoing and people oriented. Just put a me in that chat. So now, what if you're outgoing and task oriented? Well, some of your predictability patterns could be that you're bossy. You focus so much on getting things done that you'll delegate to anyone at any time, just as long as they're effective. You like control so much, in fact, if you're meeting a friend to go for lunch, You want to drive, even if it's their car. So if that sounds like you, just put a me in the chat. Great. So now for those who are considered reserved and people-oriented, you like to help others and don't need the spotlight. You are very routine-oriented, so much so, in fact, that when something is changing, you need some time to adjust your routine to that change. So if you believe that's you, put a me in the chat. Now, for those who are reserved and task-oriented, you're very detail-oriented. You can spot a mistake pretty easily and have a need to see have a need to work. I'll try that again. Have a need to see that work gets done perfectly. So you're a perfectionist. You really want to make sure that work is done, and you really look for mistakes to make sure all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted. You are neat and organized, and when you're going on vacation, you arrive with everything you need. So you are the person that does have the Band-Aids and the polysporin and whatever else might be needed. So again, if you believe that's you, put a me in the chat. So now let's think about that exercise we just did. When we looked at everyone together, there were very distinct patterns between all of the different scenarios. So let's delve a little bit deeper into patterns. So what are we talking about when we have our patterns of behavior? And once we become aware of the patterns, we know what to expect. So let's delve a little deeper. So I want everyone again to guess what animal this is on the bottom left corner. So just put your answers in the chat. Excellent. And that's right, it's a zebra. So now let's look at the bottom right-hand corner. What pattern is this? Great job. You're absolutely right, it's a giraffe. Now let's look at the top left corner. I know you guys got this one. Yeah, great job. Answers are flying in. Excellent. And you're absolutely right, it's a tiger. Top right-hand corner, what pattern have we got there? Excellent. And you're absolutely right, it's a Dalmatian. Great job, everyone. So based on the patterns, we have some indication of what to expect in the behaviors. So for instance, a tiger's behavior is definitely going to be different than a Dalmatian's behavior. So the same holds true for people in our lives. When we become aware of the patterns of how they communicate, we not only know what kind of communication to expect from them, we also know how to best prepare, as I've mentioned before, interact with and respond to them in order to have that successful connection. So important in all aspects of our life. So I want to bring you a little bit of history on DISC. In 1928, Dr. William Marston identified his DISC theory, which was published in his book, Emotions of Normal People. His DISC theory identified that each of us is a combination of the 4 primary personality styles which comprise of DISC. This means that we can connect our personality style in varying degrees in the 4 different areas: dominant, influencing, steady, and compliant. This framework of DISC is not meant to label us or put us in a box and close the lid, for sure, not that. Each of us is a distinct combination of the 4 DISC, and again, they're the dominant, influence, steady, and compliance. However, each have a natural set point of 1, 2, or even 3 of the DISC personality styles. So today, I will help you recognize the patterns that illustrate a person's behavior preferences and how, when we lean into our own natural areas of strength, we can bring our best into our work and relationships. So this impacts our whole life. So again, the D stands for dominant, and they are outgoing and task focused. So remember the outgoing and task oriented. I stand for influence. They're outgoing and people oriented. S is for steady. They are reserved and people oriented. C stand for compliant. They are reserved and task oriented. So you may be thinking, well, that's nice, but what does that have to do with me? Well, each day you and I have multiple opportunities to connect with others. If we approach them the right way, it works great. But if we approach them the wrong way, it could be not so great and even could be harmful. So think back to the tiger versus the Dalmatian. If you approach the tiger the same way you would that cute little puppy dog, well, it could be catastrophic. The consequences are definitely not going to be the same. So let me share with you a glimpse into each of the 4 styles. So those with significant characteristics of a D-wired style make up 3% of the population. So it's a very small percentage. They thrive on control, make quick decisions, are direct, which can make them appear bossy, and focus on results. So if you think that sounds like you, put a me in the chat. So D's focus on results, so much so that they're always working towards something and are proficient at multitasking. They are driven by authority and will easily try and take control. They embrace any change that will help them get results. And they're very confident responding to direct confrontation. D's look to work with people who are loyal, and their greatest fear is being taken advantage of. So I'm going to give you a scenario of a D person. So a D personality is somebody who comes into the meeting, or maybe they're already into the meeting. They are going to quickly take control of the meeting. They're going to want to know exactly what needs to get done, when it needs to get done, what is the expected outcome, and who is going to be doing what. They're going to quickly take over and figure that all out, and they're going to quickly say, okay, the meeting's done. We've gotten to where we need to be. Everyone go and do what you need to do. Bye. And they're gone. That would be a D personality. So our eyes persuade others by speaking. They are spontaneous, friendly, and are often in the spotlight. It is estimated that eyes make up 11% of the population. So if you think you're that eye, put a me in the chat. All right, great. So we've had some social butterflies. Excellent. So eyes like a friendly environment. They're always active. They are relationship oriented. It's super important for them to have connections, lots of them. Emotional, they're expressive, and very animated. So they are great storytellers. Eyes, oh, you want an eye around the campfire on those summer nights, because boy, can they tell a story. And they're encouragers, and they treasure great experiences with others. It's all about those personal relationships. Their greatest fear, of course, then, is rejection and loss of approval. So an I personality in a meeting is now the person that is socialized all the way up the hallway to the meeting room. They may arrive just on time or even late because they've been socializing. And even when they arrive in the meeting, if it's just about to begin, they're still going to socialize. They're going to say, hey, Jane, how was, Johnny's soccer? And hey, Susie, how's that new car treating you? They're going to socialize. And it's best to let them have a few minutes to do that because that's best for their personality style. So are S's. They are team-oriented. They are great at follow-through. They are loyal and work best in a cohesive atmosphere. It's estimated that 69% of the population is S-wired. So if you haven't already guessed it, that's the majority. So if you can relate to this, please put a me in the chat. We have to have some S's out there because that's a high percentage value. So our S-wired friends seek a team environment and are loyal. They are easygoing and agreeable, evenly paced, good listeners, compassionate, and they treasure peaceful relationships. So, of course, that goes without saying that their greatest fear is confrontation. They will avoid it at any cost. They want nothing to do with confrontation. They want it to be peaceful and calm. So now our C's. Our C's are compliant. They're on time, they're analytical, and not at all spontaneous. In fact, they are planners and they take pride in their accuracy. So C's are about 17% of the population. And if you feel you're a C, go ahead and put me in the chat. It could be an accountant in the crowd as well, because they would definitely be a C. So our C-wired friends seek an environment that honors logic and facts. They are compliant, conscientious, accurate, detail-oriented. They need to know all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and they treasure perfection. So they are slow out of the gate because they need to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. So of course their greatest fear is criticism because they work on perfection. So an example of a C personality at a meeting would be that person that is asking a lot of questions. Now, to somebody, especially a D-wired personality, if you come across that person, it could be very frustrating for you, and you may even get angry, like, why is this person asking so many questions? But it's very important that they have the time to get all the facts they need, all the data they need, so that they can feel confident in what they're doing and going forward. Because don't forget, they're not going to go forward until that happens. So they're the person in the meeting asking all the questions. They're the person coming back and continuing to ask questions after the meeting is complete. So why is knowing someone's disc style so important for us? Well, because as author John Maxwell says, connecting increases your influence in every situation. And no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's, you know, you're leading a team, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mom and you have children, there's a point where we need to influence what they're doing. And without being able to connect with them at their level and in their way, we'll never be able to truly influence them. So each day in our personal and professional lives, we have an opportunity to communicate, connect, and collaborate in ways that adds values for others. So using the communication strategies of DISC, we can transform results and relationships. Remember my scenario about celiac? Exactly. So no matter how smart, caring, charismatic, or demanding we are, we won't advance very far without the ability to communicate and connect effectively with others. So here's a communication roadmap you can consider. So this is really important, so you might want to get a pen and paper to jot this down. Oh, but wait a minute, Max, do you think they might like to have an actual copy of this that they could, pin on their board at work or keep handy that they could use?
Yeah, I know for sure. Like I could definitely find that handy to use.
Excellent. So guess what, everybody? Not only are you going to get a copy of the PowerPoint today, you're also going to get my cheat sheet on how to communicate effectively with the D's, D, I, S, and C's, all the styles. So you don't have to take any notes. And we're going to go ahead and start with communicating with our D's. So there are specific strategies for communicating with someone who's D-wired. So you want to be brief. You want to be direct and to the point, and then leave. It's as simple as that. Tell them what they need to know and leave. Get out of there. They don't want the conversation or chatter. You want to ask what, not how questions, and focus on results. Remember, they're very results oriented and task oriented. Don't ramble on, as I mentioned. When you have to discuss a problem, talk about its effects on outcomes and have a solution available for them. They want you to bring that to the table as well. Now, communicating with our I styles. When someone who is mostly I-wired, don't ignore their ideas. Hear them, acknowledge them, and if you don't think their idea will work, recognize their efforts and encourage them to keep looking for solutions and to come back to you. Then yes, listen again when they come back. You want to ask the who, not the why questions. And with iWire team members, allow time for socializing. As I mentioned in my scenario of the office meeting, it's very important that they have that time, both in work and after a meeting with them. They really like to connect and collaborate. And follow up with the details in writing with them. Remember, they're that social butterfly. So by the time they've left the meeting and they've gone back to their office, they've completely forgotten what you've asked them to do. So just follow it up with a quick text message or team chat if you have that, or a quick email, and just remind them of what they need to do. When meeting with eyes, keep in mind that 4 short 10-minute meetings are much more effective and productive than a 40-minute meeting with them. So now let's look at our S's. With the S-wired people in your life, smile. Always smile. Even if you're not feeling friendly, look friendly that day. Okay? So seriously, create a friendly tone for the discussion and ask how, not what questions. Don't be overly aggressive and minimize the potential for confrontation. Remember, that's their biggest fear is confrontation. Be sure to show interest in them as a person. That's very important to S's. And if you're working on a project together, give definition to the roles, the goal of the project or assignment you're giving them. They need to know some of those facts. And if changes are needed, this is a big one. If changes are needed, give them time to adjust to those changes. It's very important for S wired. Now let's look at our C's. With those who are C-wired, remember that they need the details. So they need all that information. Ask why, not who questions. They don't care about who's in the room. They need to know why it's going to work, how it's going to happen. Make sure when you offer up facts that they are validated facts. That's very important to them. With C's, you'll want to be precise in your explanation and very specific. Be patient, answer all their questions, and follow up to provide them with the additional data they request. Someone with strong C wiring asks many questions, and it can sometimes feel like you're being interrogated. And why is this person asking so many questions? Again, be patient with them. Don't get frustrated, and make sure they have all the details so they can make the right decisions. They can buy into the project or take the right actions. So today I talked about how to recognize the pattern of people around us by seeing how they may be wired in the DISC style. Remember the number game and how hard it was at first? I mean, we only got to 14 and then we over doubled it. So once we know the pattern, it becomes way easier. So that's exactly how it is with our relationships and communicating with others. It's easier when we know that pattern. So once we know how someone else is wired, we can build even deeper relationships and connections. So imagine if you could understand yourself more and how others want to be communicated with. So I'm going to give you another scenario. So we see here that the D and the S's are completely across from each other, as are the I's and the C's. So the D's and the S's can quite often have that confrontation, which S's completely do not like. I want to give you a scenario about my corporate world where my boss was a D style and my primary is an S. So as you can imagine, we're upset at each other quite often, you know, that we were trying to work on things and we were struggling. It just wasn't working. When we understood our DISC, our different personality styles and how we could work better together, my boss then became a little more patient to give me the information rather than just saying, Carol, I need this done, go and do it. So, I didn't know what was the outcome she was looking for, when she wanted done by, who she wanted involved. So, having that bit more information, which she got to understand, really supported me to go forward. Likewise, when I went to her, I had bullet points. So when I had something to share with her, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the outcome. This is when it can be done by. This is who's going to work in it. Here's a problem we thought of. Here's a solution. See you later. So quick and to the point and go. So we've got to appreciate each other and our personality styles. Likewise, we had a C and an I on the team. Now, the C also become very frustrated and angry because I was all over the place. They were over here chatting with this person, that person. That C is like, why are they not taking this project serious? Like, do they not understand we need to get the work done? They're getting frustrated and angry. And of course, the I is like, why are they asking so many questions? Like, just go have fun. Just get it done and have fun. So when, again, they got to understand each other's style, they really were able to connect. And of course, the C would have the questions all listed out, to which if the I didn't have didn't have the answers for the questions, they would quite likely come to myself or to my boss. But they were a little more patient with the C's, understanding that they needed that extra information. Likewise, the C's got to appreciate the I's because they were the ones that would get the team going. They would be bringing that excitement and engagement into the room so that the whole team could just move forward and get the work done in the way that they needed to get it done. So they appreciated them for that aspect of how they could bring it to the team. So now I want you to think about, if you've got a team, do you have a D, an I, an S, and a C? Because if you do, that's a powerhouse team. And learning how to use that to your advantage would be incredible. So as I close, I'd like everyone to take a minute now, and I believe you can open your mics, or you can definitely type in the chat for sure. I want to identify one thing that really sticks in your mind from all that we've shared today. What is that one thing you've learned or will do differently from what you've learned today? So as a result of everything, how will you go forward? So anyone else? We've got a couple answers in.
Carol, are you able to see the chat, or would you like for
Yeah,
me to kind of bake
I
in?
actually just pulled up the chat. It's over top of my slides, but I wanted to see what everyone was saying. But thank you, Max. So yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. So Mel, exactly. Here's a solution. Yeah, so you're approaching on the D for sure. Make sure what I learned here when communicating with others. For sure, it's really going to help us, Max, to appreciate other people now and not get frustrated and kind of step back and say, okay, wait a minute, they're asking a lot of questions. I bet you they're a C, right? So we're going to take that time with them.
Exactly.
And exactly knowing the fears and the strengths, Jen, super important. Because if me as again as a high S, I've got two other traits that are above line as well. But if I know that this is going to become confrontational, I'm going to back away from it. Yeah, and learn to identify patterns to better and use this to adapt to workplace situations throughout my career. Absolutely, Jacob. Yeah. How we speak to others in a way that most resonates with them. 100%, Fatima. We're speaking their language. So, I don't know if anybody's traveled in here, but not only did I travel, I lived in Europe for several years. And if you can't speak the language, wow. Love the suggestions on how to talk with each other. It's easier to recognize who is what by knowing how to work with them. It's very helpful. Absolutely. I think knowing this will help us being more empathetic and be able to better communicate. 100%, 100%. Might take a while to try to understand the personalities more, so I understand what he's asked to communicate. 100%, exactly. It's all about communicating and connecting, and if we can do that, that's huge. It'll change so many parts in your life. So now I've got some other great news for you. I've got a free 6-step guide to getting unstuck through self-discovery and personal growth. So we did a little bit of self-discovery today, and it all leads into personal growth. So this guide and worksheet on getting unstuck through self-discovery and personal growth provide a structured framework for you to enhance your self-awareness and identify your strengths. And of course, you can go ahead and click the QR code now if you want, but you will also be receiving this in a handout. So with actionable steps in this guide, like SMART goals and overcoming obstacles, you can develop practical strategies to navigate, change, and improve your communication skills. And to grow, we need to change. By understanding the DISC behavioral styles, you can foster stronger relationships and increase resilience in the face of challenges. And additionally, the worksheet serves as a personal tool for tracking your progress as you work through those 6 steps and celebrating successes along the way. Super important to take that time. This promotes long-term growth as well. So personal growth is a lifelong journey. When we stop learning and growing, we become stagnant and irrelevant. So you want to think about that. Ultimately, engaging with this guide empowers you to take control of your personal development journey and achieve greater fulfillment in all areas of life. So this again will be in the handout. So I hope you enjoy that. Here's some contact information for me as well. On the right-hand side, the QR code is my connections. And so as we're closing, we are each a distinct combination of the 4 types, as I mentioned. If you'd like to learn the degree to which you are a D, an I, an S, or a C, our Maxwell DISC Personality Indicator Report will provide you with 30 pages all about you. You'll discover your DISC profile, your communication style, the environment where you work best and you can bring your best forward. You will also learn your fears, what really motivates you, and so much more. So for a limited time, I have reduced the price regularly, and there's the QR code for the DISC behavioral analysis on the top left. It's regular $250, it's on for $199. And on the bottom left-hand side, there's another QR code for a complimentary call. So if you're not sure what your next step should be, what direction you should go in, or you have questions, feel free to click on that QR code and book a strategy call with me. And now I believe we're going to go to a Q&A session. Max?
Yeah, no, that's correct. We open the floor up to anyone who has any questions for Carol here. I know I for sure have one, so maybe I can quickly ask.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so throughout your presentation, I most commonly found that I resonated with the I, the kind of outgoing version.
Mm-hmm.
However, there were times, I guess, in my life where sometimes I do see myself as a little bit of D, especially when I'm on a phone call. I definitely recognize that, where I kind of want, if I'm on a phone call for a solution, I want to get that solution kind of black and white, like, yes, go do this. This is probably the best answer. What do you think that might be behind that? Is it that I guess you can vary into other forms of these I
Exactly.
guess
So
sectors?
yeah, in the presentation, I covered lots of information, but one of the things I alluded to was that you can be a combination of 1, 2, or 3 different styles. So what I'm hearing from that then, Max, is you're primarily an I, but I'd say you got a little bit of D in there as well. And that can happen for most people are not just one, most people are a combination. So that's why the DISC personality report really will dive in and it will identify, it's a graph actually that's identified, and all of your markers that are above the line, we know those are primary within your style. So it's a great question. So yes, you can see a little bit of other traits in you. I also want to share a little tip because this could be relevant for someone else. I have 3. So when you have 3 different styles in your personality, when we're under stress, so for example, I am an SCI, so I have some I in me as well. And when I'm really stressed, I become a D. It's called a false D. So that could even be present here for you, Max. So be interesting to see if you do a disc behavior analysis, what it comes out as.
Yeah, no, maybe I'll be jumping on that special offer for the $199.
Yes, that would be excellent. Any other questions?
Cool. Would you say most people are a mix of all four of them, like at any given time?
It's very, very rare, Jacob, that it's a mix of four. Usually it's a mix of two or three. Very rare we see all four. And usually if we see all four above the board, that usually means that that person is in a transition. So if they're in a transition, it could be changing jobs, moving across country, a breakup in a relationship, then their markers can all show above the line. And that again wouldn't be their true disc then, right? So I would say that probably a combination of two or three.
Got it. Thank you, Kel.
You're welcome.
And it looks like someone's asked. Oh, sorry. Apologies.
Oh, Carol, I just wanted to
Yeah.
add. So you mentioned like I feel like I'm like part of like DINS, where I definitely enjoy meeting people and going out. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when I'm getting the waiting to get the work done, and it's not getting done, then I have to put in that dominant hat and be like, we gotta do the
Yes.
work because you're waiting for people to do the work, and then suddenly um, you're running out of time, you're running out of the patience, or there are
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things in the line. Um,
Yeah.
am I
And
audible?
yeah, and
Yeah.
this could, again, I would definitely say you're a combination in there. What exactly the combination is, we'd know by doing the DIS report. But you can also, within ourselves, once we're more aware of our environment and people around us, then we can also adjust ourselves. So, for example, when you know someone needs to step up and be that D person, you could jump into the role. So a certain combination of the styles that appears. So again, like I said with in the last question where with the three styles I have, I can be a false D. This could be appearing for you as well, but then the D steps in when it needs to. So when
Yeah.
that hammer hits down or that deadline is right in front of us, our D can come out to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Does that make
Thanks.
sense?
Yeah, yeah. I guess, yeah, it does, and I've become see when I'm at home, I'm more compliant with my wife around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
I think we answered all the questions there. Oh no, yeah, someone just said great presentation. I really enjoyed it.
All right. So I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to join me today and to learn a little about DISC. And I say a little because what I've covered today is kind of that tip of the iceberg. All that rest is still under the water. We haven't discovered it yet. If you're unsure of what your next step should be, or you just want to chat about how and what action you should be taking, please reach out to me. It's a free call. So again, happy holidays. All the best for the new year and your personal growth journey. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Hey, well, thank you guys for joining us. So I'm just going to quickly say another heartfelt thank you to Carol for speaking with us today and sharing her insights with us and the expertise in the Maxwell DISC method. For all that are curious, we will be we have recorded the workshop, and it will be uploaded onto our Hub and S, as well as we'll be sending out a follow-up email with the PowerPoint, as well as that bonus kind of cheat sheet that Carol mentioned. Yeah, and if you have any further questions or clarifications with anything that was asked, feel free to reach out. We're here to help and would love to continue the conversation. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at our future events.